That one seems like a summer banger, you know.
The song of the summer.
Song of the summer, baby. Oh my god, yeah, it was great. And I mean, I also enjoyed Runt a lot too. I think it was weird because that was the first song I jumped into, and have not listened to you for 4 years. I was like,
rock band to that.
I was like, I looked at my computer. I was like, oh wait, it's the right band. I have the right band. Let me rewind it. So then I rewind it, and I was like, oh, okay, no, this is it. Okay, just make sure it's not some other band named Forager. You know, can't be.
There is one in America somewhere that I think it's like a country band.
Oh, that's even worse. Why would you want to get locked in with that? That'd be rough, I think.
Yeah, that's. I hope they don't think about it. They might think it the other way around.
Well, we need to put Mark out. We need to.
We actually did that Forager talk.
You know, it'd be great. You know, it'd be great is if somebody was looking up like the Forager from the States, and then they find your band, and they're like, "What is this?"
Yeah,
this is not the country artist I'm looking for. You know,
Forager up, dude.
They're like, but this kind of smacks. I like it. I'm gonna stick around. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's how we hope so.
Hey, listen, you kept me around, so it's been 4 years. So I feel like, you know, I just show up. I'm just like, yo, what's going on?
Yeah,
guys are great. But it's good to have you guys back on. So I will count it in. How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Forager back in the building, baby. It only took 4 years. It's great. I'm so excited to have these guys back on, and they can say their names and what they do in the band.
Oh god. Oh god, it's gone.
I'm Alex and I play guitar.
I'm Nathan and I play guitar.
I'm Ollie and I'm the vocalist.
I'm Tom and I drum.
Oh, there you go.
We do have a bassist,
yes,
called Matt, but he can't be here today because he's. What is he doing today?
Wait, hang on a minute.
There he is. Oh, he can't be here today because he's on a stag.
He's on a stag do. He's on a stag do, yeah.
Oh man, I thought for sure someone was gonna like pull out like a MacBook and they're like, "Here's Matt. Sorry, he was late." He just showed up.
Oh,
yeah, can't play on time, you know, but here he is. He's here. We even tracked him up, synced him up with the drums. Still can't be in time. It's all right. You know, just kidding, Matt. Love you, Matt. Even though you're not here, I'm a little hurt as an interviewer. I was just like, I thought you would cut out some time for me. You know,
he made it guilt tripping. He made it very personal about you. His reason for not doing.
He's like, I don't like this guy. This guy doesn't seem like he knows what he's talking about.
He does not endorse what you're doing.
This is a non-Matt channel. He's like, listen, no Matts here. No Matts allowed. Yeah. Oh, man. God, well, we're just joking, Matt. Again, I'm not going to hold a vendetta against you. This is, I'm definitely not going to do that. But I'm excited to have the guys back on. As I mentioned, it's been 4 years since the last time I've been on. I was just a wee young lad doing interviews, and now I'm like a slightly older lad that's doing interviews. So I feel like, I've really grown up, and I feel like the guys also have grown up as well because I checked out both Runt and 192, and I was like, God, this is totally different. But also, at the same point, equally as good and fun as I remembered Forager to be. So, guys, tell me what's been going on for like the past 4 years, because I feel like there's been a lot of stuff that's changed with your band. So, let me know.
A lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Well, when we called it your last, we were just like kind of similar to what we're doing now, just like releasing music on our own. But in terms of what the sound was, it was super, super different. We were big fans of bands like Tiny Moving Parts and Sean and stuff like that. And so we were doing like the math rock thing, and that's where it all started and where we spoke last. And then over the past few years, we were playing shows and stuff, because obviously like there was lockdown and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, shows, and we're all big like hardcore heads and metal heads and stuff like that. And what ended up happening was we had this like math rock sound, but whenever we played live, we were like losing our minds in terms of like going crazy on stage and stuff like that. And yeah, just like going crazy. And so then when after the lockdown came to an end, we kind of looked at what we were doing and we're like, right, well, we're big like hardcore fans and metal fans, and this is stuff that really we grew up with.
Yeah.
So we went in that direction.
Yeah, I think a big one, like, because I think we were going for maybe like a year and a bit, maybe like a year and a half before lockdown, as like the math rock Twinkle Dinkle band.
Yes.
And Whittle Tiddle. And yeah, I don't know, like obviously it's kind of weird because we've been going as a band for like 4 years, but you know, we were going for like a year and a half. I think we only played like maybe 10 shows before lockdown. Like
wow.
We're super like not really doing it super intensively.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Sorry, I forgot.
just kind of like trucking along and like not really putting too much time into it. And then lockdown hit and we just didn't do anything, obviously, for a while. And I think during that time, yeah, it just kind of dawned on us. We were like, I don't know. Really, what happened is we kind of just started again. We started again.
The reset.
Musically, yeah, we like reset, and realistically, we probably should have renamed and just like started again, like because obviously we had those 2 other EPs, and then we started releasing new stuff, and we were playing shows that were predominantly new material that wasn't released yet, but all of our stuff on Spotify was like Contact High and the self-titled EP, which the majority, like we weren't even playing songs off that first EP, and we were only playing out like maybe 2 tracks off of Contact High. And it was just, we got a lot of people kind of commenting on it, being like, what's the deal with this? Like, your music is not like what you are online. Like, people see us live, go to listen to us, and then
that's true.
And it was just different bands. It was just like 2 different bands. So definitely after lockdown, for us, or at least from my perspective, it very much kind of feels like we started again. Yeah. And as like this new thing, just with the same name, which was maybe kind of a confusing move on our part, but we had to maintain the hordes of fans that we that we're obviously very grateful for, of course. But yeah, you know, so but the last what, probably getting on, how long has it been now since lockdown? Like
2 years? 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Roughly, yeah. They've been like great. Like we've been hitting that. We've really like just been pushing, playing loads of shows, writing music that we really like resonate with and care about, and yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Life is good. Yeah, good.
I would say there was just a shift. Like I went back and listened to some older stuff, and I was like, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, what happened? Like, what did I was like, is there something I'm missing? Like, was there an album where they like mesh like new metal and like math rock together? Because what type of abomination would that be? I don't know.
Maybe that's what we could do next. Yeah.
Please don't. That's you've already went. You're already far removed. You're already in the new metal space. Just go. Stick with that. But I kind of had the same thing. I was like, there's a little bit of an identity crisis, and I feel like for people who are older that have been with Forager for a bit or have watched the first interview we did, I feel like there's going to be a little bit of confusion as to why the band changed. And I felt like in that first reaction video, which will be out now, you can check the links in the description. But I was like, what's going on here? Like that was like my first comment out of my mouth, because I was like, I was so like, what the fuck happened? Like, what did they do? What happened? What changed? Like, is that what lockdown does? You turn into like a new metal head?
Yeah, COVID affected us.
Long COVID came out the way.
Yeah, and then you're like, yeah, what's good? Like, we're gonna,
something's wrong.
Yeah. That's what happened.
Honestly, I think I can pinpoint it a little tiny bit. Because when we came out of lockdown, we started writing again together in a room and stuff like that. and we came together. There's a song that we did before Run, actually, called "The Worst Minute of My Life," and we went into that song, and we had that attitude. Right, we want to.
Well,
we were
well,
listening to.
it was because I remember that that song. Yeah, is the turning point.
Yeah.
And I wrote that song not as a Forager song. Like I'd just written it because I was just bored and just kind of came up with this kind of weird, kind of grungy riff. Like it wasn't technical at all. It wasn't really doing anything that we previously were kind of doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was sat on it for maybe like 6 months because through lockdown, I just was like writing so much stuff, but I just didn't like any of it. Like I must have written close to what, like 15,
Like 2 EPs worth.
yeah, like 15, 20 tracks of just like math rock, whittle twiddle stuff. That's all gone now. Like it's just like because I would listen back to it and I'd just be like, I hate this. Like it's so just kind of
Not what we.
it just felt forced and just felt weird.
Sure,
and then
sure,
I wrote Minute, and it's literally kind of the complete antithesis of what we were doing before.
Yeah.
In that it's literally like 2 chords the whole way through. Super simple. It's not dicking around with time signatures. It's just like to the point doing the thing. And I had that and I really liked it, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I didn't show it to anyone for like 6 months. And then just like when things were starting to happen again, we were talking about demos and I was like, okay, I'll show the rest of the guys this track I've got. And everyone was just like, sick.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Like, this is so good. And it just has such a vibe to it. And like friends outside the bands and like promoters and other like, you know, peers that we kind of work with and get, you know, a lot of opinions and kind of feedback for. Like, I showed everyone that track and they were just like, this is sick. This is what you need to be doing. And then from there, it was just really kind of affirming to just be like, yeah, okay, cool. So we're just going to vibe.
And
we're not going to worry.
It fits the vibe that we had on stage.
Yeah, that was the big
Like,
thing.
it fits now the music and the performance is like matched.
Yeah.
Another thing that you went to the download pilot.
That was later.
That was later. That was later
But
on.
with Minute as well, one thing that was quite, we went into, because as well, whenever we were trying to write stuff before, we were trying to be as smart as possible, using like loads of double meanings in the songs and like when it came to like lyrics and stuff. But then with this one, we were like writing the lyrics and like the top end for it. And we just stood there, right, we want the song to be tough and we want it to be sexy.
Tough is the word.
So tough and sexy. So we really just tried to boil down the whole process to the most simplest point. I think that's what's happened now. Is that whenever we go into writing songs or we do stuff, it's like it needs to have a simple point. Like, is this song, you know, like I was just saying that, is it tough? Is it making us feel sexy? It's the song. And then what like Baron's saying as well, like we went Downloads Festival here in the UK. And Nathan came out of that and was just like, I want to write a song that is
I'd not
crazy.
Because of lockdown, obviously, I'd not been to any gigs and I'd kind of forgotten that other people just enjoy heavy caveman dum dum riffs. And I just forgot that like I enjoyed that because I just think I forgot how much I enjoyed like kind of that side of heavy music. And I also forgot how much other people enjoy that. Yeah. And I came out of like the pilot just really kind of like, oh, dude, like I just want to write some crazy like, just jung riffs like that are just kind of very rhythmic and not really trying to do anything. And that's like literally the day after getting back from the pilot, I wrote the track Temper, like just the whole track, maybe in like an hour and a half. Like demoed.
The demo's not even changed.
Yeah, the demo just did not change.
One and done.
Yeah, it was crazy. And and then I think since then it's just kind of had much more of an identity. And then with this next EP, which is set to come out in like July, 20th of July, Who Wants It?
Who wants it? Who wants it?
We're just really doubling down on being just obnoxious, basically.
Yeah, dude.
Like, we're just really like just having fun with it and just being like, cool. Like we don't need. There's millions of bands that are super serious and like being very like artsy and like edgy and have all these like super I don't know, like dense things that they're trying to communicate, and I'm all for that stuff, but I don't know. I think there's also a really important role in music that is just like, man, this is just like fun and visceral, and it's just like go time. Just like, man, this is just like hypes you up.
Pure
and
energy.
See, and you see it live, and you're just like, oh, you know what? Actually, like, this isn't trying to break my brain in half with some crazy like meaning. It's just like, oh, this song's about Manchester and being on the bus. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know anything
like
about Manchester, so that's probably me being a dumb American. I'm like, ooh, you Manchester. I don't fucking know what that is.
Ever ridden a bus?
Well, now no, I'm gonna learn from you guys. You guys are gonna teach me about Manchester, you know.
There you go.
No, I think that there's I gotta agree with you, Nathan. I think there's a level of like, I love the stuff where you can think about things very like introspectively and be like, oh shit, like this is big. But then at the same time, like I just listened to the new Incendiary record. I was like, this is just dumb. This is like Chef's Kiss, like arguably one of like the most fun albums I've listened to this year, just for the sheer fact of just like the Oonga Boonga riffs, you know, just like why? It's like why does it
Kublai Khan or another
Kublai Khan, yeah.
Amazing.
It's just silly for the sake of being silly, and it's just so good.
And I think it's just important, like just having fun doing it and having fun writing it is just, and you see it a lot in a lot of bands. Like I think a really good example as well at the minute is like Lorna Shore.
Oh yeah,
like Lorna Shore is super dark, obviously super heavy, crazy instrumentation and orchestration, all this mad stuff going on. But you know for a fact they're in the studio when they're tracking those vocal parts, and he's just like
howling,
like they're just laughing because it just sounds insane. Like there's no way they're in the studio and they're like,
they're like, yep,
they're like, this sounds fucking bonkers. It's so funny.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, this is off a microsecond. All right, we're gonna have to shift that up about like about 2 semitones. Yeah, actually, could you pan the guitars to the right a little bit more? I'm getting too much feedback. I do. And I mean, there are like I kind of have strayed away from like the really technical bands now, just because, not because I don't like them, I still go back and listen to them, but like it almost seems like if you go to those shows, it's like you have to bring like a fucking notebook with you, right? Like you're like, okay, all right, so they're in 7/8, so and then the drums are doing this, and then the guitars on top of that are actually playing in like 8/9. So then it's like you're going all through like this like really great stuff. I mean, objectively, I think if you are a musician head and you like that really just insanely technical thing, it's great, you know? But I'm not going to be thinking about that shit. Like, if I go to a Forager show, I'm just like, how hard can I pit tonight? And it's probably not very good because it's probably not great because my knees are going to blow out and then I'll probably be in the ER. But, you know, it'll be worth it at that point. So I find that your music really kind of struck this sort of like fun aspect or like fun thing in my brain where I was just like, this is just great. Like it's great for the sheer fact that it's just fun and like you can listen to it and you're not like really thinking really heavily about it. It's just like you could hear like different things where you're like, oh, there's a cool like guitar solo in like 192, or like there's this really interesting like vocal effect in Runt. Like it's like those are things that I like point out that I'm just like, oh, that's great. Like it doesn't even, like, you guys could be talking about like puppy dogs or some shit and I'd be like, oh yeah, let's fucking go, bro.
And it's that thing, and then hopefully, like, again, whether you felt this or not, but like we want people to listen to stuff, and then when they hear those little moments, we want the feeling to be like, oh, the reason they did that cool vocal effect or guitar solo is because it's literally fun and cool.
It just sounds.
It's just fun, and like there's no deeper. You know what I mean? And again, like we said, there's nothing against any bands that really deep it and, you know, want that deeper meaning. But for us, every decision is based off of, is this the most fun thing we can do in this part of the song?
Is it fun? Like, do we find this fun? Like listening back to stuff, like especially during like the demo process, because for us when we're demoing, a lot of the production stuff that goes on in terms of like, you know, like vocal effects and mixing and like and kind of like where things sit, like in kind of the sonic spectrum and all that stuff, that all happens quite a lot in the demo process, because those things are really, really important
Sure.
for the character of songs. And it is that thing of like, if we do something and it doesn't get that like, woo, like, yo, let's go. Like, if we can't get that out of it, then on what planet can we expect anyone else to get that out of it?
Sure.
Like, that's just like bonkers. Like, it has to do it for us before it does it for anyone else. And I think that was just, yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of the main thing that we struck on when we started writing kind of in this style more, was just like, we just find it more fun to do this stuff than the whittle twiddle stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I would also say it carries more. Like I haven't seen you guys live because you're in the UK and I'm in the States, but like I think I almost had that aspect of like, this is what I can imagine listening to this song live and still having that same sort of energy, if not even more so, because I'm like, man, there's something hype about like the music that they're writing that I'm like, God, like this would be sick to see live. So I think for me, obviously not having and seeing you guys live, it's a little bit different, but in the same way, I'm like, I can still attach that sort of way that you guys do things in person and can, have it seem like if it's in a live sort of setting, obviously people who are in the UK are going to be blessed with seeing you guys live. But like, I think for me, it's like a cool experience to listen to the songs and be like, okay, this is what I feel like they're going to do live. This is how I feel like it's going to play out live. And that's great. And so I think not a lot of bands have that sort of like thought process of like, okay, we're writing this song, but like realistically, it's supposed to be like what we're going to be doing live. Like, how does it make you feel live?
Yeah, that is it.
We should have brought the creed. We should have brought the
I've got a picture. I've got a picture of the manifesto.
Well, you can't.
But at the top of our manifesto, when we're writing, is the Big Beat manifesto. Does it fuck live?
Yeah.
So does the first thing, if we listen to something or we're doing something, the first hurdle it's got to cross before it goes any further is this going to go down and make, like, we literally stand in Nathan's bedroom. I like stand there pretending that I'm on stage, doing the bits
while he's asleep,
and I'll be like, I'm just,
he's just out. He's just like,
we pretend we're on stage.
Yeah. Ollie's just like this. Ollie's like on the bed. He's like standing over him. That'd be wild.
3 times at 3 in the morning.
But like, that is like, and it's something we got like. It's something we got from like from Every Time I Die. Like, I think there's like a Every Time I Die or something where I think it might be Jordan's talking about how writing riffs, and he just says something like, to the tune of that, just being like, is this gonna go off live? Like, is this riff gonna be hard live? And if the answer is no, it's not going in. It doesn't go in. Just don't and it's also like we're also really, really conscious in the mindset. So point 2 on the manifesto.
Wow, we're going down the list. I like this.
It is like if we're bored, they're bored.
Sure.
Like, if we're bored listening to it, and if there's even a moment, like if we're listening to it or practicing it or playing it, and we're like, oh, this section's kind of dragging, then you can guarantee that that the crowd is feeling that and people are feeling that. Like, so that's really.
I've got it here. I've got it. I can't do it close up.
It's all blasted out. It's probably for the best, honestly. I don't want to know. Oh God.
It's so crudely.
Oh God, it is completely blasted out. You just screenshot it and send it to me. Oh my God.
Does it serve the pit?
Does it serve the pit?
Does it serve the pit?
That's great.
And it's just that and again, it's like, even that, just doing shit like that is so fucking like, just like dumb shit.
It's okay. I respect it. I do dumb shit all the time. I'm sure people can tell me that I've made like some of the dumbest shit.
And there's so many bands, like, I don't know, especially like, I think when you're starting out, you meet so many bands that are just so serious, and I respect it because people are serious because they care and they're passionate.
Sure.
But there's so many bands, and you kind of like interacting with them and talking to them, and they're almost like it feels like they're afraid to admit that they're doing this because it's fun and it makes them happy. If that makes sense.
Sure,
I know
yeah.
it sounds a bit weird, but like I think a lot of people, because metal can be quite serious and quite like,
totally.
we're like brooding and like we're tough boys and all this. And I always get the impression sometimes talking to bands like where I'm like, man, like let your guard down.
Yeah, lighten up.
Like, show people that you're just like having fun and that will resonate.
Yeah. I think
But,
the
I mean,
biggest
but that's-
I think probably the biggest compliment for me, at least, is like if I can see a live band and they enjoy what they're doing, I think that's like the biggest key. Like I don't think you can really, like you can tell if someone enjoys it, right? I think that's what I tell people all the time is like, if you know a band enjoys it, like I feel like you're going to fuck with it much harder because you're like, they're enjoying it, you know? And I think that you kind of feed off their energy and vice versa. But like when Nathan said, it was just that I think people take it too seriously. Like I take these interviews as about as seriously as you can think of, like, which is not serious at all. So like for me, it's like I can see how people are like, oh man, I just like want to be big or like I want to be famous or I like want to do this thing. And that's great. Like, don't get me wrong, but like at least enjoy it. Like this is something that you don't get to do or very many people get to like enjoy or just have fun with. Just fucking do it. Like I enjoy doing this. I could be doing fucking anything else with my life, but I love talking about bands.
Dude.
So
And
I
I
feel
think-
like that translates, you know?
Yeah, and that's a really good point you're making, like with people kind of focusing on a lot of people's goals are like, I'm doing this because I want to be big and I want it to be successful, which obviously like there is of course an element of that in this for us. Like we would love it if we blew up and it was this humongous amazing thing and we could quit our jobs and fucking live off it, like amazing. But I think it just becomes really conceited really quickly when your focus is to kind of be somebody rather than to do something. Like,
Bingo.
and I think like it's just really important just to be like, if your focus is I want to achieve a thing or like achieve a vibe or like a goal, you can achieve that at any stage, at any size, and it doesn't really matter. Like our goal is to write fun music that goes off live, and as far as I'm concerned, we've
nailed it.
We're getting close to it. Like,
I'm just sat in the back.
Ollie's like, we did it. And Nathan's like, we got a little ways to go.
No room for improvement.
Every song's a banger.
I just think that's something for me anyway. I think that's really important. Just to focus on just making sure that you
absolutely
enjoying what you're doing and not becoming conceited in it and not just being like, well, what do we need to do so that it gets really big? Because that's
and a lot of bands think that way, and that's it's a little sad because like I think you lose that sense of joy that I think you would have with doing that, right? And I'm glad that you guys pivoted. As much as I think it would seem like a shock to most people, especially if you've been a fan for a while, much like myself, like it is a little bit of a shock, but I genuinely think that you guys enjoy what you're writing now way more than stuff that you're writing before. There was just something about it. It was just that aura. Like when I clicked on the track and I jumped into it, I was just like, I think they like this a lot more. I don't want to be like reading into it, but because I obviously hadn't talked to you before doing this, it seemed like they enjoy this a lot more. It seems like they're gonna enjoy it a lot more playing this, and I'm sure you guys have played these songs live by this point. But it just seems like there's an overall level of enjoyment that if you had continued Forager down the like math rocky, like tappy sort of stuff, maybe you might not have loved it as much, and you would have, the flame would have died out, and you might not have continued on. So I had to give you guys a lot of props for doing a literal 180 pivot to something the complete opposite direction and doing it super damn well. So kudos. I love it. But speaking about the new songs, Runt and 192, for people who aren't familiar with Forager or are, and they're like, what the fuck happened? What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out first to give you an idea of your quote unquote new sound?
That's a good.
I would say out of the two that are currently out, I would definitely say 192.
192. We are loving. Like personally, yeah, we are loving a lot. Like it was so much fun to make, and it's so much fun to play live, and it encompasses so many different parts of who we are and what we're pushing for going forwards. So I think, like, if someone is new and is wanting to listen to what's to come and what is Forager at its core is definitely 192.
Yeah,
multifaceted.
I
Like,
think. Well, I would definitely say that just really is the song that is the most unabashedly just that kind of just goofy. Or like the lyrics are literally like the first line is stepping straight off the 192, which is like the bus to my
his
house.
house.
Like it's not.
It's the bus that goes from the centre of Manchester. And so whenever he goes on nights out, or it's like a late night in Manchester, we get on the 192.
Yeah,
and it's a prolific bus route. So yeah, if you're ever in Manchester and you're feeling like, oh, I'm so lost, get on the 192 and get off
I'm just
the
like,
big Tesco.
Don't dox him.
Don't.
Yeah, Nathan's like, I live at this address, and then it's just like,
I just camp out next to the bus stop.
that's his recording studio. If you see like a 10
Yeah.
out and you just hear music blasting out of it, that's
DIY, man.
That's a
But
good
yeah,
one.
Yeah, that's definitely the track that's kind of is just the most like, yeah, this is it. It's kind of the goofiest one, and definitely the one that takes itself the least seriously.
I would agree.
Like none of the tracks on this new EP take themselves like too seriously, but that one is borderline a joke track.
The satire is real. Ollie's up here like, I have to sing this. Ollie's like, I have to like sing, do this thing.
I have
Yeah.
to figure out what's going on here. Yeah,
I thought we
sure,
were like,
sure.
hyper intelligent. We were talking about like science or some shit, God.
Yeah,
Wow.
you saw the manifesto.
Yeah, the manifesto.
Because even like, I think, because like even with like with the chorus, like we were trying to like, I swear we were trying to be like,
No, it was about.
originally the chorus.
Don't do it.
That was It was a practice. It was a practice that we had, and you weren't there.
I wasn't doing vocals that day.
So I did vocals, and then I was like, I have this part, which is like that main chorusy part. At the beginning, like the guitar, and what was it? What was the line? Just singing about farts. Literally just singing about farts and having a stinky ball.
It was stinky ball.
And it literally like Tenacious D level fucking.
Yeah, I've got a stinky ball.
Absolutely fucking.
I've got a stinky ball. That's what it was. Yeah, I've got a stinky ball.
Which is the most fucking crude, absolute 2-year-old level humor.
I'm all about it though.
After a long process, we did change it.
Yeah,
It took a while.
It took a while to convince everyone.
I was dead set against it. I really poured my soul into
that line.
That was some really
like,
highbrow lyricism from Nathan, I think.
Yes.
I'm a scholar. I'm a well-schooled human.
Yeah, man.
Obviously you guys have an EP coming out. What song are you most excited for people to listen to that isn't out yet?
That isn't out yet.
Let's go down the line. Tom.
Yeah, what do you think? What's yours, Tom?
Maybe Orange God.
Orange God. That one is, yeah. For me, why Orange God? Why?
I don't know. I feel like it's
To be
Why?
fair, I'm with you.
Why, Tom? Tell us why.
Yeah.
Riveting.
Come on,
Points, Mike.
I don't know. It's got that interesting guitar line.
Yeah, it
all
does.
the way through it. Like essentially just a lead guitar feature all the way through.
Yeah, they do. Nano.
Mm.
Oh, the
flange. The big flange.
The big flange, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when we're talking about like production that happens like during the demo, that's literally like Alex flicks on some effects on his guitar and it's like that's the sound.
Yeah.
Like, straight away.
It doesn't even matter what the part is.
That
It's
sound,
just like
yeah.
it's just that sound, that sonic thing. It doesn't matter what notes you're playing. Which again, like goes back to like the complete 180 of when we started. It was like dry as fuck guitar tone, like literally a compressor straight into the PA. Let's fucking go.
This poor guitar.
And we're gonna play like the most like just like stupid part that we absolutely
Acoustic,
cannot play.
like, yeah.
Don't practice that much. And now we're just like, notes don't matter, lyrics don't matter, singing
Put a
about
flanger on
put a
it.
flanger on it,
And sing
singing
about
Fonts. I love fonts. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
My favorite that I think it's more because I'm just interested to see how it goes. But we've got the next song coming out, which is called Converse.
Ooh.
And I'm excited for that because it's, again, we were saying about like writing all the heavy stuff and stuff like that, but Converse is actually more of a kind of, in my head, you'd hear it on like an American Pie soundtrack. It's more like, it's got like that Wheatus Teenage Dirtbag vibe.
Yeah, it's literally Teenage Dirtbag.
So I'm excited to see how that goes down.
You don't want to say that, man. You're like, note for note, it's the same song.
It's kind of the vibe. No, it's the exact.
I brought it. Yeah, I just re-recorded Teenage Dirtbag. This is the new demo. This is
We never heard the original.
I'm just like, okay. And no one's called me out on it.
Yeah.
The producer's not said anything.
Yeah,
Like no one said anything about it.
Well, I'm gonna totally redact that part of this interview just so I could protect Nathan. Be like,
Get in.
Boys, we got him. Yeah, the Wheatus guys have been on my case for a while. Yeah.
I keep getting letters. My tent keeps getting letters. I don't know why.
Cease and desist.
Please stop using our song.
This is me again.
No.
She's shitting in the ambulance.
What is mine? Daisy. We have a song called Daisy, and that one, I think that one is probably the closest we've got to like an almost entirely serious song.
Yeah.
Like in that, like all the parts, it's quite dark. I think a lot of the lyrics are a little bit more
Not about farts.
And I think it's one, it's just a little darker, and it's just kind of just focusing on kind of creating a vibe, and it's like it's slower, but all of our tracks really are consistently kind of above like 170 BPM, whereas this one's like considerably slower than the rest, and it's just kind of got more of a kind of like a darker, sludgier kind of vibe to it. And it's kind of like the end section's almost got like you don't want to say like, it's almost like doomy. Like the end is almost like kind of doomy. Which I think is just kind of like interesting. So I'm really interested to see how that goes down. And I just love playing that one live. I just think it's kind of
that was fun.
Just
there's a bit in that which is pretty rooting,
pretty cool.
Yeah. What you got,
Alex?
Well, Orange God's my favorite, but we did write that song, which was we basically just I went around to Nathan's house and we basically just said, let's write something. I've been listening to loads of Helmet, Silverstein, like Deftones, specifically that cover of Helmet, funnily enough. But we called it Never Change, See You Next Summer.
Yeah.
It's a weird one. Like, it's just weird. When we play it live, it is very weird. Like, it's like slimy sort of verses, and then it's got like that weird, just like free time breakdown to it. It's just, it's a bit of a deep cut. Like, I don't see that one getting very.
Well, don't say that. You know, what was the question they asked? What's your favourite song? And you're like, this one's not going to do that.
Root for the underdogs, you know?
Yeah, dude.
Christ, every song on the new Forager EP is excellent.
Put that on a t-shirt. Put it in Crown.
Every song is a modern masterpiece.
Hang it in the Louvre.
You should just take whatever the best reviewed album is, and then just replace your album name with whatever it is.
Only enough. It's a Wheatus. It's the Wheatus album.
Yeah. I don't think that's true, but
doesn't matter. I said it.
If you believe it, Nathan, I can't take that away from you. If you believe the Wheatus album is the greatest album of all time, then that's God bless you. I'm not good. That's rough. If you think that's the best album of all time, phew, sheesh. The next question I have for you guys is I don't know how you got Tom and Alex in the band, so I want to know how that happened.
So, Alex, well, because I started it as like a little solo project, just like basically like Forager is kind of like how I learned to play guitar. So I was always a drummer. So I was like playing drums in bands for ages, and then was kind of getting more into playing guitar, and then started writing tracks. And then it turned into Forager, and I did like a kind of like a solo EP that's like somewhere on the internet, maybe on Bandcamp, that's like instrumental. And then I got some members together, and then there was like loads of changes. But this is before we really were like an announced band. But as far as like when we kind of dropped the self-titled EP, which is kind of like when we started, I guess, like properly, you were in the band since day one. Like he was in the band when we chatted last.
Oh, okay.
Alex was in the band, Matt was in the band, and we did have a previous drummer also called Tom.
Every drummer's called Tom.
Every drummer's called Tom.
This is fact.
And he recorded the stuff on the self-titled EP, but then he left, and then we got a new Tom 2.
Tom 2.0.
2.0.
The upgrade.
Tom.
The upgrade.
Tom.
We never even played a gig with
With
the
Tom
old
1.
with the old
Right.
Tom.
Someone.
Yeah.
Tom.
So
We forget about him. He's
Tom is the real Tom.
Yeah.
that's the real Tom.
So these guys have been in since day one, really. Like, we've not
okay.
had like a lineup change. Like, but you and I were in a band way back in the day. We were like, when we were like 15, 16, we were in like a gent band.
8 strings.
Like
and
8-string gent Jun band.
We were very serious.
We're basically the same human being. We've been friends fucking out of the womb.
You're out. You're out and you're like this. Yo, what's up? All right.
Yeah, what's up? Did you listen to Limp Bizkit? And then you guys met in uni.
Yeah.
And then Matt, the bassist, I was at uni with him, so I met him there. So we've all been friends for like a good while. Like we are literally like best mates outside of this. So
Except for Ollie. Ollie's not.
except for like, yeah, you picked up on that.
I'll be in your bedroom tonight, running the set silently, smiling, just with massive headphones on at the end of your bed, just like.
I love it.
It's just teenage dirtbag.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god. How many times, guys, let us know in the comments. How many times are we going to reference that? Who knows? I don't fucking know. It's probably more.
Drink every time we say the word fart. Drink every time we eat this.
God, please don't. I don't want to be responsible for that shit. So, the next question I have for you guys is I saw something about Limp Bizkit very recently, and you guys were out. Like, did you guys go to a Limp Bizkit show or something? You guys took like
Yeah.
what?
No. You take it. I'm gonna get a beer.
So you're
Yeah, can you get me a bit?
the point's got we obviously we we're having it's really sunny here in the UK at the moment. So we've got all of us around at Alex's house, and we're having like
Not our house.
Our house.
We're just we've occupied.
we've got squatters' rights.
They just showed up,
we're
yeah.
having, like, barbecue and stuff, so we're hanging out. But so
so my
here's
dog's,
Matt Jenkins is here.
Matt Jenkins has come in. Here he is.
Say hi, Matt.
Oh, what a cutie.
That's my boy.
I love him.
Dante.
Hello, boy. He's just had his food, so maybe a bit
Aw.
giddy boy. Sorry. We're talking about Matt,
He's
though,
stoked.
right?
So with Fred and with Limp Bizkit, so weird turn of events. We obviously TikTok in terms of social media for bands and artists is very powerful. Thank you. Right now, and so we posted a TikTok of a clip of Run,
Nice,
and
yeah.
it went semi.
It did well.
It did well, semi-viral, whatever you want to call it.
You're not allowed to say viral.
It went, and then anyway, we got a comment on that TikTok video from Fred Durst, So like we were obviously freaking out.
What?
And that was crazy. We're like, oh man, he's like seen our video. Crazy. And then we checked our Instagram like a few hours later, and he DM'd us on Instagram. We ended up having a bit of back and forth, and he was just saying he knew we were from Manchester just from our like socials and stuff.
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, we're playing a show in a few weeks in Manchester. Would you guys like to come through? And obviously we're like, yeah, thank you.
You should have been like, nah, it's all good.
Thank you.
You're like, yeah, I'll pass.
We'll see if we're free.
Yeah. Let me look at my schedule real quick. Yeah.
Just only washing my hair that night.
So that was crazy. So it was crazy. So we went to the show, and we thought we were just going to get tickets in. We ended up being able to go backstage, and obviously, like, he's a busy dude when he's playing shows and stuff, but he gave us like a bit of his time, which was really nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And we sat down, had a chat for a little while, and then we watched the show, a bit of it side stage, and then just obviously out in the pit, obviously just going, losing our minds. But that was like a massive, crazy thing. It just shows the power of social, the power of TikTok, and again, it's so cool as well. Like you know, Fred Durst of fucking Limp Bizkit doesn't have to talk to little bands. He doesn't have to fucking do that. He's Fred Durst. He's the guy who did Woodstock '99. He's the guy. So the fact that he went out of his way to like drop us even just a comment on our TikTok video, never mind to like drop us a DM and say, hey, like it's really like I think that shines his character kind of through really well. But he like we're a nothing band when it comes in the grand scheme of things. In the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, once the inevitable heat death of the universe kicks in, like people aren't really. There's gonna be like Universal Apocalypse, Limp Bizkit, and then maybe us on the docket. So we're pretty low down on the list.
Oh my God.
In the grand scheme of things.
I respect it. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Fred, if you're watching this,
I was like,
I wrote you, but you still
I restored you, but you still ain't calling.
Oh man.
Yeah, Fred, love you, baby.
And meanwhile, while he's digging himself out of the hole he dug for himself.
Yeah, that was very cool though, because obviously we're ginormous Limp Bizkit fans.
Yeah,
and it's just like, it's just nice. Like it's just like a nice little bit of just like acknowledgement and just kind of a good moment of like, hey, just fucking keep doing what you're doing. Like,
yeah, totally.
We're vibing. We're putting out the right vibes, and if somebody who is a direct influence on us as like Limp Bizkit was one of the first bands like my dad showed me when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, music's like a thing that fucks, said Nathan, the 8-year-old boy.
Exact phrasing, yeah. That's
exact phrasing.
I respect it. Yeah.
Quote. Yeah, so it was just like a really kind of like quite affirming kind of interaction. So we're really, really grateful for that. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that and I looked at it and I was like, is this Photoshop? Like, this is wild. Like that as like not again as not know. I want to preface that as not knowing that you had changed your sound like 180. I was just like, why is a math rock band talking to Limp Bizkit? That seems a little strange. Hey, whatever, respect. Yeah, Fred Durst fucks with us. No, I think it's great, and I didn't even know there was like a whole story behind it. So I think that makes that much better. Like for me, I am not as familiar with Limp Bizkit, but I do think from what I've heard, like through other contacts and stuff, he just seems like a genuine dude. So I think for the sheer fact that he again commented on your video, said like, yo, come out to the show, we'll chat and do all this other shit, like the thing is like he could have done none of that. He could have just checked out the song and just like disappeared and done nothing, you know. So I think for him to comment and be like really stoked about what you guys are doing and everything, I think that just again what Ollie said shows a lot about his character and you know what he wants to do. Because I think like obviously new metal I feel like is seeing a larger resurgence right now, so it's good to know that you know he's keeping his ear to the ground and seeing what bands are doing stuff right now, and that's awesome.
And I think he realizes as well, like it's that self-awareness as well, that he realizes how like to go on a random band's TikTok when you can see they're trying hard to push content out and maybe getting a few thousand views and stuff like that. Like he can definitely know that like, oh, like this is gonna help.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That tiny him typing out a couple emojis or putting one word as a comment on a video is going to help that band so much
crazy.
from such a small gesture.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you get it, Fred.
It's just like a few seconds out of your day, right? Like to just make a comment.
Totally.
Like it takes him nothing to do that, and like I think it just again shows that he's a cool dude.
Yeah,
so
100%.
and that's amazing, and that obviously he wants new metal to do well. So I think that obviously being a forefather of new metal, I think he's he's got to do his due diligence. So I respect that a lot. So that's awesome. So kudos to Fred Durst. I don't think you'd ever come on this show, but I mean, if you did,
Thumbs up for Fred Durst.
Caps in the chat, caps in the comment.
W's in the chat.
Shout out to those.
Shout Retus as well.
Oh my god, poor Wheatus. They're gonna get thrown into this for no reason. God, they're like, who the fuck's this band? I don't know.
Yeah, they don't give a flying shit.
They're like, we don't care. I made that one song that's sick. That's it. That's all I need to know. That's all you need to know. No, that's awesome. Well, obviously, kudos and well deserved. I hope that my reaction video just helps. Take you guys off a little bit more. Like I said, excited to edit that and throw that up. So I will definitely tag you guys when it comes out. But
yes, we'll share it.
Love it. Wow, are you a vocalist, Ollie? That's crazy.
Right, let me tell you right here.
I love how it was completely blasted out. Like I didn't hear a word Ollie said. It was just like it was just like that.
That's it.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Somebody's gonna try to figure that out. So good luck to you. The next question I have for you guys is, what is your Mount Rushmore of bands? So like, who are the 4 bands that like are quintessential to you as a person?
Should we choose one each to go on the Mount Rushmore?
Ooh,
Is this like personal?
Individual.
We could do it.
it's individual. This is an individual challenge.
Yeah. Let's go first.
Right.
Personal Mount Rushmore, King of Kings.
I could probably go. I could probably jump
Go,
in.
go.
I know
Go,
mine.
go.
I know mine straight off the bat.
Oh.
So, in no particular order, Deftones, 100% Deftones. Every Time I Die. Probably. Oh, it's harder than I thought. I got like...
You were like so dead set on it, though. I respect
it's
it.
a good question. Think why you're putting them up.
Yeah, I'm thinking why. I'm thinking why.
That'll help.
You got 2 good ones.
I'd probably say Meshuggah. Yeah.
It's gotta be.
And Primus, probably.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Love
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotta be up there.
Yeah. In a
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alex, what about you?
I think I'm gonna go straight off the bat. Kill Switch Engage.
Yeah.
Kill Switch Engage got me.
Ooh.
Both Howard and Jesse, love them both.
There you go.
Till I die. Deftones #1. Fight Star, they have a small little UK band.
Ooh,
Well,
yeah.
they don't really go like this, but I absolutely love Fight Star. Aerosmith, they were the band that got me into playing guitar.
How many heads is there on that one?
4.
That's 4. Yeah, it's 4 heads. Yeah.
Well, there I go. Yeah. That's me.
Ooh.
I love
All
it.
right.
Damn. You blasted that.
Go on,
Crust
Barry. Yeah, you go. I'm stopping.
Right.
Gojira.
Well, shut up. If we could do the same band 4 times and just go Gojira. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
one head. Yeah.
It's just, Mario
Gojira
4
for
times.
me, massive. Like as a drummer, Mario Duplantier,
Oh.
#1, absolute legend.
Ledge.
Like, and then to take it back, because obviously Gojira once I was like rooted into like listening to metal music, and then I discovered Gojira, it was just like, okay, this is it. This is all I need. But to take it back to the beginning, System of a Down, for sure, massive influence on me. Trivium,
Of course, it's got to be Trivium.
Trivium, think about that metalcore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then this last one's hard. There's probably like 3 bands that could take this.
I think so.
I'm gonna say Green Day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a good one. Kudos.
Those has
Kudos.
got like loads of different stuff.
Yeah.
Respect.
Also,
Okay, mine. My first one is a bit of a strange one. My first one is City in Colour.
Oh. Yes.
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 City in Colour is probably like the closest thing to my
gone?
heart.
Oh, he's
It's
gone.
gone. Oh,
Okay.
no,
My
it's
God.
not. Dallas.
I know.
Dallas has a
I
way
know.
with words, and he's never faltered. So I love that guy.
Love that little
So
guy.
love that little guy. City in Colour is probably up there, and then Forager, obviously. Oh man, City in Colour, and then it's got to be. Oh man, I'm gonna say.
El Nino.
Stop putting words in my mouth.
From reading it. You're an open book.
Right. Shut up. Shut up.
Sorry.
This one might seem a bit obvious, but for me, this band goes really far back for me. But Turnstile.
Ooh.
So I was listening to when they did Step 2 Rhythm back in like early 2000, the 2010s. I was listening not to be that guy, but I was listening to them back then, and now they've only got better. So
Sure. Yeah.
So that, and then I'd probably say Limp Bizkit. You got what I mean? So
He's just like, let me just name drop this.
I'm in what's it called? Flow state right now. So City in Colour. Shut up. City in Colour, Turnstile, Limp Bizkit, and one more. One last one. Shit. What? Wait. No.
Oh.
I'll wear that shirt.
And then,
He's like,
Okay,
it's
last
gone.
one.
You just take the shirt off.
Here we go. Last one. Here we go. Last one. She's gonna be what?
Shikari.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be for what got me into heavy music and Shikari.
That's actually how we met.
Me and Nathan.
That
met
is
through
how we
Shikari,
met. In
so-
year 7, you came up to me in
Yeah.
the mosh pit at school. There was an area of our school outside that was kind of like a little dipped area. And that's where all like the grebos would hang out. And it was called the mosh pit. And we would kind of skulk about in there as year 7s.
Yeah.
And I remember you came up to me one day with your like MP3 player. And you were like, hey, do you listen to Enter Shikari? And I was like, no. And you showed me like The Feast.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, like, show me like The Feast. And I was like,
Come on.
whoa, dude, this is cool, man.
Yeah.
And that was the
Yeah.
beginning of the friendship. Yeah, the mosh pit. So for a little bit more context, I know everyone's interested in this.
Yes, absolutely. I'm
The
invested.
mosh pit on top at the level, like the level up from the mosh pit, there was like this big brick wall, wasn't
Yeah.
there? And up there, that was where like the chavs would hang out.
So
So
like
the chavs,
like the
I don't know.
Rough Rider.
Jocks, I guess.
Jocks,
No,
kinda,
chavs
yeah.
are kind of like, do you know what a chav is?
I've no.
They're kind
Do
of
I look
like-
British to you?
I suppose not.
Yes.
Google
You're like, you know what
Yeah.
chav is, and I'm like,
They're just kinda They're
Yeah.
like UK equivalent, I guess, of like kind of like trailer trash. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like just kind of rough and just antisocial and just kind of not
Okay,
nice.
yeah.
And they would hated moshes because we had long hair, and that obviously just made us terrible. And we would just hurl bricks at each other
And milk.
and
And cartons of milk from the cafeteria. There was a certain way where if you unwrapped the outer layer of the carton of
it
milk,
was just like a
there was like
balloon.
a balloon of milk, and you just like hurl it, dude.
And at lunch
Shout out to community school,
Buxton
mosh
Community
pit,
School,
mosh
yeah.
pit.
And every lunchtime, without fail, at some point, a brick or a bag of milk would get hurled, and then for the remainder of lunch, it would just be an actual like active water.
Yeah,
And then you just go to lesson like nothing.
yeah. Watch Green Street, but just imagine they're all in school uniform. That's what our high school are playing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, have a good answers, boys. To the Rushmore one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a good question. Really good question.
That's a tough one. I feel like I.
What about you?
What's
my
your
Mount
Rushmore?
Rushmore- Okay, well, I feel like ironically enough, Under Oath is one of those. I'm trying to think who else. I would say
It's hard, isn't
that
it?
is tough. Yeah, this is tough. I would say Cove era Seosin. Yeah. I would say that album I can listen to front to back, know all the lyrics. So I would say that.
It's a strong start.
I feel like I gotta go modern. I would say Loathe has been
Yeah.
a band,
We
life changing
Loathe.
band.
Loaf.
Warburtones,
Yeah,
you know.
we love 'em.
Tones, yeah. Jeff Tones. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah.
Whew,
No,
something in my chest.
Oh yeah, they are fucking smashing it. To be fair, and like
Drop the new
it's
album, please.
just kind of cool, like the songwriting in it.
Oh,
Like
it's a
when
mad
you kind of distill it down and you just look at like how the harmony and the vocals interact. The songwriting is just so strong. It's just so sick. Like so well done.
They're on another level.
I've got
yeah.
to see him twice now. I'm hoping I get
Yes.
to see him for a third time, hopefully this year. But they're insane.
Did you see him with Statty Dress?
I did not. That show sold out
Oh!
so quick. And Static Dress shoutouts, they're amazing too.
Yeah,
I love
killing
that.
it. Shout out to the
Smashing it.
boys.
And then let me see, who would I round that out with? If that's tough.
Strong three.
I would probably
Strong.
say Holding Absence. That's the last band I would
Oh,
put on the list.
Welsh
Yeah,
guys.
the Welsh guys.
Oh, God.
I love seeing them live. I will also say like they musically have like the most diverse catalog. Their early stuff, more post-hardcore. Their stuff now is a little bit more like alt, but like still fantastic. So I would say their songwriting really.
An album recently, right? They dropped a new album like pretty recently.
They did drop Greatest Mistake of My Life. That was a year, maybe almost 2 years ago, and they have a new album coming out in a couple months.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
They're playing Slam Dunk today in Leeds.
Oh, yeah.
Good, big like alternative pop punk festival here.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good time.
Well, if you go next year, if Forager plays next year, I'll
Oh,
fly out.
nice.
I'll fly out. I'll fly out. I'll fly out. I'll fly out.
Yeah, dude, come on.
Let's do it, guys. Make it happen. You guys got connections. I know people that watch this show. You got it. I know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, should we watch the show? Yeah,
Sound off in the comments.
Yeah,
Sound
let us
off.
know. Let's slam dunk on Twitter and just say Forager's the best band you haven't heard of.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Don't berate them, but just politely say this would be nice if you'd add this band on, or whatever British people say in Twitterverse. I don't know.
Please, Slam Dunk.
please, sir.
I'm begging you, sir.
I hope that's not actually how British people are. That would
It
be
is.
that'd be a little bit depressed. Now it would explain why you guys are depressed all the time. I'd argue.
Yes.
Yeah. Not only because of the weather, but I would also because people think you're like out of like I don't know some sort of like fucking like old TV show. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe you. This shit's
Literally in the gutter.
Yeah.
It's just goats walking around.
Yeah.
Like the dirge.
That's about. That was it.
You guys are really saying the best shit about the UK. I think you guys are. Are you guys like part of like their tourist community? You're just like, yeah, we're an absolute trash heap. It's all right. It's great.
Yeah.
Trash
Stick of the dump.
The next question I have for you guys is, if you were to compile a musical supergroup, who would be in the band?
Right, we should pick one member of the supergroup.
Yeah,
I think that
Jesus.
was
for what we play.
for what
as well.
we play. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, go on, Farron.
Who's it gonna
Who's the
be?
drummer gonna be?
Mario DeFante.
Respect.
Vocalist. My vocal idol is Jason Allen Butler from formerly Let Live, currently Fever, Free. He's my vocalist icon.
Oh, he's
the person
fantastic.
I hold in most high regards. He would be the vocalist for the supergroup.
I'd agree.
Awesome.
This is
Do
great.
you want to do guitar? Do you want to do bass?
Both do guitar. Just both do guitar.
We need a bassist.
We do need a bass.
A
You can
bass-
choose the bassist.
Oh, I get to choose a bassist? Oh,
Yeah,
God.
you get to choose the bassist.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm going to think about it. Now I got to think about it. Shit.
I want to pick someone.
Yours is. I feel like yours is
Who
obvious.
do you think I'm going to say?
What's it called? The guitarist from Kill Switch.
Well, you know what I was going to say is I want on rhythm guitarist James Hetfield, because that man has a mean right hand.
Yeah,
He does,
very true.
He can just do that forever. Like, just
Well,
keep-
I picked Dave Mustaine.
yes.
No,
Good chemistry.
No,
because I
retract,
watch him
retract.
becoming- Okay, other guitarist.
Never really think.
Maybe. I don't know. I kind of want to throw some because we've got kind of a lot of metal boys going on here.
I like this.
I want something a bit funky in the mix, a bit weird.
I know who plays the
Les Claypool on guitar.
Les Claypool.
No, yeah, maybe.
Cool guitar.
Maybe. Oh, I'm blanking. I'm completely blanking.
You can play for a guitarist.
Yeah, someone that shreds hard.
Who shreds hard?
Crazy.
Just no one can
Mark
do harder than
Sorsby.
Mark Sorsby. My
So
friend Mark.
our friend. He's our friend. And he's just a shred demon. Mark Sorsby on
that's it, dude,
guitar.
Mark Sorsby. My friend Mark Sorsby. And the band is going to be called Mark Sorsby's Boom Boom Saloon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout
my
out
God.
Mark
Just-
Sorsby.
Shout out
We
Mark
love you.
Sorsby, drop the EP.
Please, we beg, Mark.
He's just like a crazy player, but he's never really like. I just don't think he's that arsed about like doing like band shit. But he's such a fucking shreddy guy, and I live with him through uni, and it would be like every night without fail because he's a night owl. I'd like wake up at like 3 a.m, and you just hear like really quietly like beep boop boop boop, 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 and then just and then it'll stop and he'd go. And then it'd get like 5 BPM quicker, and again, and yeah. So who we got so far?
Mario DeFante.
Mike Vancier, Jason Allen Butler,
James Hetfield.
and Mark Sorsby. Yeah, let's go.
And then
And then
Who's
my
Who's
bass
that
player
bass?
pick, I'm picking Denny Hauser from Veil of Maya. I feel like he'd be
Ah!
loud. I might as well add to the.
Mark will be happy about
Mark
Yeah,
will be
you'd
very
love that.
happy
that. Mark
with
will
that.
like that.
There we go. Oh, Mark.
Sounds like a good.
I think that
Let's get
sounds
one
like
of
a
the
good group. I don't know how we're gonna get this all working out, but hey, listen.
We'll send
It's
some
the
Put it in
internet.
the comments.
Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know. Let us know in the comments, guys.
Anything that.
Yeah.
Definitely do it up. Next question I have for you guys: what are you jamming to more currently? What are you listening to? What's on the Spotify? Have you guys been listening to lately?
Nay.
No, I'm gonna
Limp
read
Bizkit.
each of my top ones.
I got mine straight away. Actually, I've recently really rediscovered Zeal and Ardor. I've been absolutely slamming Stranger Fruit lately.
Oh,
It's just amazing. It's just so good. It's just so good. And that's it. I'm done. I love
I'm
it.
done.
I'm done. That's it.
What about you, Alex?
Well, we're going seeing Turnstile very soon in August, and
Yep.
High Vis are supporting them. And I'm really, really digging with High Vis because I'm definitely like a big old metal metalhead, but like the hardcore stuff I've come into kind of late. But with like high vis, there's something like I listened to Talk for Hours. I think it was a song you showed me, Ollie.
Yeah,
And I was just like, this is like Oasis, but just like heavier.
hardcore Oasis.
Yeah. And I was just like,
Dude, honestly, check out High Vis.
Okay, I'll check them out.
They look
It's
mean.
that whole kind of like, it's the whole like baggy vibe, like, or like, yeah, like Oasis, Blur, Stone Roses, kind of
The
like,
Britpop
like
stuff.
kind of, yeah, like that Britpop Manchester area specifically. I know Blur aren't
Well,
really.
they're all Liverpool boys. But yeah, they've got a lot to say. They're heavy, and I'd probably be a bit scared to talk to them because they're really scary.
They're really, me and Jenkins met them at the
Really?
Going Off show. Yeah,
Oh, did you?
Yeah, they're just like normal boys.
Oh,
They're nice.
Oh, yeah.
My one, Kenny Hoopla has just released a new song
Ooh.
called "You Need a Hit," which is sick. He's doing like a more of
Yeah,
a rock thing. He's been doing that for a while, but he's really hitting it home. What else? Let's have a look. Going back, so there's a song by El Nino called "What Comes Around," an old. They're an old new metal band from New Jersey, but I think they're like. But that's a tune I've been slamming. I love electronic music and like dance music. There's a new Calvin Harris song called "Miracle" with Ellie Goulding on, and that's sick. And I've got one more.
Why do you not say Into the Dragon?
VLK.
VLK. And then the last one actually is there's an artist called Sully, Sullii. So it's a guy. He's a solo artist. He used to be in a post-hardcore band in the UK called Crux UK.
Oh, I love them. Yeah.
Yeah, so is the singer of that has got a solo. Dude, listen to Sully. Listen to Sully. It's so good. So he has loads of like solo stuff, and it's more like hyper pop, rapper.
Let's
dude,
go.
it's so sick.
I'm
so
stoked.
listen to like Sully is 10 out of 10. He's super talented. He's incredibly passionate about his music. So like,
Ooh,
it's
stoked.
really a lot of his stuff. I just really like when I'm like writing stuff. I'll use him as like almost like a guide of like, all right, I want my stuff to be as emotive as his and as like powerful as his. So
And
yeah,
now
that's
you sing about farts. So
and then we sing about farts to the tune of Teenage Dirtbag. What's yours, Byron?
Yeah, so like I put them in my list before, but I've been literally taking a deep dive back to what got me into heavy music, or just listening to like at least just rock music, like bands that play instruments and they do gigs live, like Green Day. Like I've been spinning American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown, like, and honestly, I as soon as I put those on, it was just like big nostalgia hit.
Yeah.
Still remember all the lyrics, like
Yeah.
like oh yeah, as soon as this song's finished, I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, that's the cool feeling.
So yeah, stuff like that, like Sum 41, All Killer No Filler, like loads of old like Blink stuff. So yeah, taking a dive back to what got me into it, but what's like current, Bring Me's new song Lost.
yeah.
It's that song is so good.
It hits.
Can't wait to hear that live soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah, we're all going to Download Festival this year, so they'll be smashing that one live.
The headlining.
That's a big deal. That's a
really good deal.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much they've blown up over the years, right? Like that's one thing that like they have just went into stardom. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Good
And
for
I
them.
personally like a lot of people. Yeah, I feel like they're one of those bands that are easy to smack on. They're easy to like, but I think they've deserved every second.
Yeah,
they've deserved every second of their success.
They've worked for it. Oh yeah, they've 100% worked for it. And I always think that the people that have got into them now, I'm like, bruh, if you only listen to some of the like Suicide Season, like Count Your Blessings, they would be like, this is the same band.
At that time, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think that's
Like
why a
the
lot of
remix
people
albums
struggled
and
with
stuff.
them because they've always pushed the envelope and like
they're right on the curve. Like, they are pushing the
100%.
curve.
Yeah.
Always trendsetters, just like
Yeah.
Forager. Go check them out.
Oh,
Links in the
yeah.
description. I got you
baby.
guys. I got you.
Summer.
Yeah. I got you. You know, that's what you pay me for. No, I'm just kidding. They don't pay me. Then that was, you know, Nathan's gonna send me some money later. It's okay. Cool.
I got you. I'll bet you.
All right, guys. And the last question, as much as I'd like to continue to talk to you for all time, I've been asking this question a lot in my more current interviews, but obviously I love interviewing bands. Thank you guys for coming back on. I always love having bands return. You know, hopefully it will not be 4 years. 3 to 4 years from now. So let's make sure let's make sure it doesn't happen again. But I wanted to know why you guys are passionate about music, because I think, you know, again, you were doing the math rocky sort of stuff. You switched to new metal, and I think, you know, very easily you could have given up. You could have just said, "All right, we're closing the doors, we're closing the gates, we're done." You know, why do you continue to do it? Because I think if you're a band and you see that type of adversity, you're like, I don't know if I want to continue doing it, but I got to give you guys a lot of props for not only continuing doing it, but arguably releasing some of your best music. So, you know, why is this important to you guys, and why do you continue to do it?
I feel like I can jump in straight away because it's something that I've been thinking about recently. The reason I so passionate about it is because of my 14, 15-year-old self. I think back to the thoughts, feelings, and emotions I had around music when I was that age, that obviously still exists now, but it really kind of makes me, when I think back to the time and I think then what I'm doing now, it makes me really appreciate how lucky we are to have a group of 5 best friends who make music together and get to play shows on the regular, and how if someone turned to me when me and Nathan were 15 and went, "Oh, by the way, boys, when you guys are in your 20s, you're going to be hanging out all the time. You're going to be playing shows together. You're going to be going in a van down to London and playing shows, meeting really cool people, and you're going to be doing this together for as long as you want to do it." I would be, do you know what I mean? And I think I just keep, I don't even have to remind myself. It's just ingrained now. Even when we play live shows, something that I always do in my head when I'm looking out into the crowd, and I'm, you know, and it's something you do when you're live. You're when you're thinking of what I'm on stage, what am I doing? And I always just imagine my 15-year-old self out in the crowd, and that feeling I got when I went to see bands like Enter Shikari or The Ghost Inside that I used to love, or Let Live, or all those guys, and that feeling that I had watching those bands is the best feeling on the face of the earth. So the fact that I get to be on the other side of that, and I'm in it and I'm doing it, is just the biggest gift of all time, that we get to sit with people like yourself and talk about music. It's such an unbelievable and definitely not underappreciated gift that we have to do together. We're sat on a Sunday with our best friends, drinking beers and having a great time. It literally can't get any better than this. So it's just as good as it gets.
It's a shame Matt's not here, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Yeah.
Why do I do music? To get girls.
Cecily! You said it again.
Obviously.
Just
Ollie's point was good and all that, but
Let's be real.
but for real, I'm about the ladies, you know.
I think that it's the same thing, man. Music's it's just been such a huge part of my life, and all of my friends, everything is to do with it. It's all consuming, and it's like a compulsion.
Sure,
I can't. It's not even a choice. It's just it's just a thing that I do, and I do feel just so incredibly blessed. Whoa, sorry. I do feel just so fucking fortunate that I get to do it with my mates and with all these people, and I get to meet all these people, and it's just, just to simplify it just to the absolute max, it's fun. Doing it is fun, and having fun is good. And I'm so lucky that I can do that, because there's a lot of people in the world who aren't in a position where they can do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think if I have the opportunity to do it, I really kind of want to make sure that I really kind of commit to doing it because I'm fortunate enough to have that opportunity,
Sure.
like where so many people might not have that, and just to kind of pay respect to that as well is a big one for me.
Mm.
Alex, Tom?
I mean,
You ready, Alex?
yeah. I mean, it's similar to Ollie, really. I mean, like I said, like Aerosmith were like the first band I heard when I was like 9, and I was like, I watched that episode of The Simpsons, The Flaming Moes, and I was like, what? I think before then, the very first album I ever had was S Club 7 that my mum bought me, and I was like, I don't know what this is. And then I saw the Flaming Moes episode of The Simpsons, and I was like, heard Walk This Way in Young Lust, and I was like, oh, this is sick. So 9-year-old me, with, you know, just tried to find out as much as I could about gigs, like what gigs were and what playing music is. And I don't know, it's like just always wanted to do it, like listen to like Aerosmith, the first band I heard, and then it was like Iron Maiden was the first metal, like Number of the Beast was the first metal song I heard, and I was just, sounds like really corny and cliche, but just like playing my little basic Fender, like my little Squier Stratocaster in my bedroom, playing like when I learned that Number of the Beast riff, I just played that riff, that one riff over the whole song, and I was just like sat on my bed thinking like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be playing live shows. And the fact that like now in this position now, getting to play that, fulfill that sort of childhood dream and lifelong dream, but with literally 5 of the best friends I could ever ask for, who I've known like as just mates and musicians anyway, like for like over 10 years. It's just, it's crazy. Like every single night, because like I always get like really bad, like ironically, I always get really bad stage fright as well. Like every time I play shows, and then like I'll just always look at Matt, I'll look at Farron, I'll look at Ollie, Nathan, and we're all just like, we're just mates on stage, just having a good laugh. And then it's like, oh, and it just so happens to be a crowd there. And it's like, I can't describe how good that feeling is. Like, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So that's my silly little answer.
I love it. Tom?
Thank you.
Yeah, so like these guys have already hit like some really good points. Like me, it's just like Nathan said, it's like it's an identity thing. Like the music that I found and latched onto, other people also like that same stuff, and then you form your whole like friend groups off that. For me, it was like it goes back to like, I guess I'll shout out my older brothers, like literally, because obviously I wasn't 8 years old going, oh, Mum, I want to buy the next Limp Bizkit album. Like, someone showed me that, like, obviously. And it's my older brother. Because they were in, like, my older brother who's, like, into the skate scene and stuff like that. So we got introduced to all that, like, new metal stuff and the pop punk stuff. So that's where all, like, that Sum 41, Green Day, Limp Bizkit, that's from. And then just because it's a band, it's like a visual band, you know, there's members, and it's like, oh, I could do one of these like things that these guys are doing. One of my older brothers, he started to play guitar, so there was always a guitar in the house, just like noodling on that. But I didn't want to do the same thing as my brother, so it was like,
respect,
you know, I'll do the drums. So you know, I just pick one of those. Like, so I just gravitate towards the drums, and then pretty much it's like it snowballs from there. Like all your friends are into the same stuff, you know, and then it falls onto these guys. Like I meet these people, these are my like best friends, and then we're essentially like, as it is now, we're creating stuff that we enjoy. So we're essentially having fun on stage, like regardless of what happens like at the crowd of the gig.
Sure, yeah.
But then when the crowd also enjoys it, and then they feed back that energy, and it's like, man, we created this music, we love it, and they love it, and you can see it happening. Like, there's nothing
that's
better.
crazy,
There's no better feeling.
Yeah, that is
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you make music that people dance to.
Yeah,
That's like a crazy. It sounds so simple.
yeah.
Like,
and
the songs we've made.
'cause I think it's so
people
easy,
dance to.
not as a musician, like it's just weird. Like I remember being like a non-musician music listener.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
like just like listening to bands and just being like seeing like these bands play like ginormous shows to like, you know, tens of thousands of people, and everyone's like singing the words, and you're just like, oh, that's just what happens when you're in a band, and you're not really aware when you're that kind of music consumer of kind of like the more underground and the smaller scenes and these smaller shows and stuff that are going on, where it's like, you know, bands playing to like, you know, under 100 people, and it is these small little shows. And one thing that just always blows my mind is like us getting on stage and playing songs that we've literally written in like, you know, like my spare room. Like we're like tracking this stuff in the spare room of my house, like just like because we're having fun doing it, and then getting on stage and having people we don't know like singing those words back to us,
Sure,
like
yeah.
is just crazy. Like it's just such a crazy feeling. Like
that Liverpool show when we released the track Temper, and we were playing a show in Liverpool,
yeah,
which we'd never played. We'd like I think we played there like once before, like as a last minute support, and then we were doing like our first tour last July. Last October. Sorry, we were like doing a tour there and played Liverpool there, and we'd released that song Temper on the same day, and then there were people like shouting Temper, like, you know, we got a song left, and people were like Temper, like screaming for it. And then that fella, like, he nicked the mic off, like he stole the mic off Ollie, and he just started singing like the chorus or the verse or something. And I just remember like, all I see during gigs is hair anyway, but I was just like, what is going on? Like, how does he know this? Like, I just thought in my head, I was like, oh, it's one of Ollie's friends. Like, that's, you know, he just knows that Ollie's obviously showed this guy the song, he knows it. And then Ollie was like, I don't know who that is. Like, no, man. Like, it's just like, people know this stuff. Like, people listen to us. It's
that's
crazy.
Surreal.
It's
that
cool.
stuff's surreal.
Yeah, very fortunate. Just incredibly
it's
fortunate to be able to do it, and like, yeah, it's great.
Very great.
So good. So good.
Yeah, I think it makes you, and I like asking this question because I think it makes me appreciate bands more for what they do. Not that I feel like I had ever lost that on my many years of interviewing and also being a part of the scene. But I think there's something about it where like you kind of again take it for granted, where you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, they're playing in like 10,000, like they're playing stadiums, whatever, like yada yada yada, and like I think to myself, this band was a local band at some point, right? And
like we had a spell of that lately where we would go and like search for like big bands like first shows, like the first shows, because that is crazy. Like looking at bands and it's like these humongous bands and it's their first recorded show and they're playing like some tiny little room to like 20 people and you're like, it's crazy to think that they were doing that at one point, considering where they got to. Like it's just like mind blowing.
It was like that video you sent of My Chemical Romance playing their first gig in the UK, or like first gig in Manchester, and they're playing this tiny little bar like in Manchester called Night and Day, which is like where we've played gigs, it's like it's My Chemical Romance playing like a, I don't know, like 60 cap venue or something like that. It's crazy.
But I think it makes you appreciate, at least for me, and I'm sure I can't speak for everyone, but I think it makes me appreciate bands more for the type of dedication that you put into it, right? I think there's a level of like love that you can have for the music, but I think there's an extra like piece of that is like the people that are invested in what they do. Like, and you can tell if someone genuinely gives a shit about what they write and how they wanted to get it out to people. And I feel like you guys are very much in that category of being genuine, as much as, you know, you talk about farts and all that sort of stuff. I respect that, you know, it's a genuine level of fart.
It's all about being relatable.
And everybody farts. So, you know, you're about being the most relatable band. That would be your reward. No, and I think it's great. I you know, like I said, I've kind of fell off for a little bit, but I'm glad that I'm back and following you guys and doing it and checking out the stuff. And I will be doing a live stream of the EP when it comes out. So just let me know. Come out, hang out. We're gonna be checking it all out. We're gonna get wild.
Who wants it?
Who wants it? Let's go. Well, guys, the last thing, the most important thing, I'm just gonna let you guys show for your band. Tell them where they can find Forager at, what you guys have coming up in the next couple months. Let us know what is going on in the Forager camp.
Listen here. Well, I'll do that. So check us out on socials. Forager UK on the Instagram, Forager Band on TikTok. Give us a follow on TikTok and a like on TikTok.
Please, sir. I'll do it right now.
Right. So we've got on the 20th of July, we have got our EP, Who Wants It, coming out. That's going to be very sick. At some point between now and then, we will be dropping our third single, Converse.
Oh,
Date
yeah.
TBA.
Yeah, because
TBA.
we're very organised. For those here in the UK, we're playing some shows. We've got Liverpool next week. We've got, actually, when does this come out? Because, like, obviously, if
This is coming out on the 30th of June.
Okay, so we played some shows.
We just played some shows.
So we've just played some shows.
We love you.
Crazy. We're Super Love.
We're going to be
Jet Ski.
we're going to be playing once this is out. We're going to be playing Radar Festival.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to Radar Best UK Festival 2022. They're amazing people. Joe, Ash, and Catherine, absolutely just amazing with such hard work.
And then we've got there's a new festival in Liverpool called No Play. No Play Festival.
Yeah, big shout out to Ted and
Ted and
Grant
No Play,
and
yeah.
Adam and all the gang.
Yeah.
Burn It Down Fest as well. Shout out to the people at Boneyard Production. They put that on. And yeah, loads of stuff. There'll be more stuff.
Maybe a tour.
Maybe a tour. Maybe
Yeah.
something.
Maybe a tour. Maybe a tour. Who knows? We don't.
We don't.
He wants it.
Well, I'd hope you guys would know since it's your band, but hey, you know, whatever.
Tour
Can't
towards the
control it.
end of the year.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
Follow us on the socials. You'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you like to follow us to find out.
Yeah.
You have to do your homework.
In our own day.
You have to give us a follow, and then you'll find out things that will happen about our band.
Yeah, the Forager
that's it.
paywall.
Yeah. That's
The Forager microtransactions. All right, let's go. They're like the EA Sports of music. No, I'm just kidding. Well, anyway, guys, listen. If you haven't checked out Forager, I'm gonna get it nice and close. Listen, guys, listen. All right, so you go check them out. The links are down in the description. There'll also be links to their new reaction videos that I've done for their 2 new songs. You should go check them out. It's for Runt and 192. Check the links in the description. You should do that. And also, if you live in the UK, I don't want any excuses. I live in the States and I can't do this, but you can because you live in the UK. So go out and see them. They're rad.
Don't be
And
don't be a coward.
don't be a coward. They are very nice people. I know Alex looks like a big tough dude, but I think he might be, I think he seems like a lovely chap. So go. He will not beat you up. So I can't guarantee that, but I just want to, I want to believe that he lives by the honor code. So go check them out. Links below. Seriously, thank you guys for checking out
Thank you.
Forager.
Thank you.
If you like this video, share it, like, and subscribe. It goes a long way. And huge thanks to Forager for coming on and chatting with me today. Love you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
We love you. We love you.